Hi YouTube, how's it going? My name is Waba. I am not doing well today, but how are you doing? I'm here with Holofractal Fairy, and soon joining us will be Murphy Owo, talking on their experiences with being autistic. I myself am also newly identified autistic. Um, and yeah, we're doing the Talkie Talk. We do these Mental Health Monday check-ins and talks every single Monday, starting at 7 p.m. EST, and you can catch the interview usually around 8 p.m. So I'm probably going to be dying for the most of this interview, and it's probably going to be pretty shorter, because Pan is dying and Murphy is dying, and we're all dying, including my green screen.
Everyone's dying.
Everyone's dying, slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Yes. And before you click off the video, please know that autism is valid, and I want more than just Awareness Month. I want Acceptance Month. Autism is not yours to fix. If you're for ABA therapy, which is just abuse, get the fuck out of here. Don't want you around. And also, if you think that you can fix autistics, I also don't want you around. Fuck off. And that being said, and the video is now officially demonetized, even though my channel's not even monetized yet. Welcome in. Everyone, chat, say hi to YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube. Oh my god, I'm famous. I'm on TV.
Hi, Mom. Well, it's not Mom, but I'm Pan. My name's Pan, also known as Holofractal Fairy.
What if you want?
My pronouns are they, them, or AM. I like both. I'm wearing a fuzzy hat. I'm autistic. You know the things. Yeah. Be aware of us.
Be aware. We're coming for you.
People are autistic. Are you aware?
Are you aware that autism exists? No. I'd rather not, thanks.
I have to say...
Hi, Murph. You gotta turn your camera back on. And
yeah,
stuff.
I haven't turned it on. Sorry. I was
okay.
switching to push to...
You're switching to... You don't have to be pushed to talk. I mean, if you have to be, you can. Ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, technology and streaming does not work for us today.
Streaming is hard.
Streaming is hard.
Everything is hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my god. All right. Okay,
yeah,
here I go.
But you know, like.
Oh no! What am I looking at?
No signal. Yeah, but like most things, if it's hard and you fuck it enough, it'll go soft.
That's a good point.
Finally.
Hey.
I guess I'll turn my light on.
Get my assistant set up.
Pan, Murph, Pan, introduce yourself to each other.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Look out,
yes, totally meeting each other for the first time ever. You've never met before. Totally. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But yeah, I am a immigrant, someone who found out that they were autistic later in life, and it's been an interesting ride, kind of retrospectively, reassessing my life in the process. Yeah, I have a mental health focused stream that I do regularly. It is my full-time occupation currently, and yeah, I have a bunch of pets. Nice to meet you.
Oh, Benny.
Here's a pet. We found a dog.
Okay.
Streaming is hard, but have you ever had a stable friendship before? Yes, my best friend, who is Leo and one of our mods. I've been friends with them since 7th grade, so I would say so. A good doggo.
Baby.
He needed uppies.
Hi, Benny.
I love your little witch doctor, or not witch doctor. Oh my god, plague doctor.
Close enough. I'm going off the rails already, so you know it's gonna be a good mental health Monday. I have a question for you, Murph.
Yes.
Being an immigrant and also newly discovered, or not newly discovered, well, relatively. I don't know. When did you get? When was autism?
It was.
When was autism?
When was autism?
Where was autism? The autism is stored in the butt.
Why?
Why was autism?
So early 20s. So like 20,
Wait.
2021. I think 20 probably.
How old are you now?
26.
Oh.
How
God,
old did you think I was?
You said early 20s, like you're in like your 30s and 40s, and I'm just like
26 is past the halfway mark. What do you mean?
You know what? Time
know.
starts slowing down real fast in your 20s.
It's true.
Or speeding up.
I was
don't
like
know.
slowing down. What?
Yeah, that's
How do? Please teach.
Autism is part of mental health, of course. We're storing it in the same place, artist.
But yeah, no, I found out in college was actually ridiculous. I follow this girl on Instagram. I think her, or at least when I was following her tag was Sarah on the internet. And I haven't been on Instagram in forever, so I don't know if she still has the same handle or not. But she's super cool. Good luck. Bye. Love you. Sorry, partner's leaving. But so she was super cool, and she like does makeup and like some modeling, and she did pole, whatever. She like openly talked about her negative experience with breast implants and stuff, and like getting them removed. So like a lot of just really cool, real shit that you don't often like see everywhere. So hold on, let me like turn my lights down. They're very bright. My forehead's like reflecting everything.
It's fine.
So yeah, she was posting about like mental health awareness, etc. Because or not mental health, autism awareness, because it was April Autism Awareness Month, and she was like, "Hey, I am someone who found out that
I was about to say
I was autistic later in life. I am a woman, and here's how that makes basically my autism diagnosis different, and like how like makes the presentation different." And I was like, "Huh, a lot of that really applies." And I was like, "Fuck." And so from there I kind of went down the rabbit hole of like a lot more research and just kind of looking a lot more into it. One of the things that kind of solidified it for me really was writing like a giant like 7 or 9 page document, single space, that I still have somewhere, that basically like explained everything that I thought fit in within like the things that I found that were true about autism versus not. And then I dumped it into AFTI Reddit thread, and it was like, here, I can't currently go and seek a professional diagnosis, like please tell me, am I losing it, or is this like a valid concern? And so that's when people were just like, yo, that sounds a lot like my wife, my daughter, like whatever, who do have diagnosed autism, etc. There's a very like solid chance that like, yeah. And then I just kind of, from there on out, I started operating under the assumption basically that like, yes, I am autistic, because so much of basically kind of so much of the description, I guess, of like autistic perception and all that stuff really kind of applied to like my own experiences. And so I was like, well, there's no way like so many things make my life make sense and are not true. And then after a while, I basically got confirmations from a couple of different psychiatrists. Still haven't had my official evaluation, because American healthcare sucks and it's very expensive and extensive, and I just do not have the means to do that right now, unfortunately. So yeah, here we are.
I think that writing a long document about how you're autistic is like the official, like that is such autistic culture.
Yeah.
Like
I was literally about to say, I hope the top
that,
comment
like,
was like
their kid.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
I really hope the top
like,
comment on Reddit was
I
yeah, it was just like, No one who's not autistic would do this.
No, not quite. But
Or like
people
no
were
one who's
very,
like strongly questioning this would do
people were
this.
very understanding and receptive. It was comforting for sure.
Reddit's comforting? What?
I know. Autistic Reddit apparently.
Oh, also I'm in my good clickbait arc of my character of my content creation anime here. We're in the good clickbait art. I can't fucking say those words.
Clickbait arc.
Good clickbait arc.
Hey.
There we go. In my content creation like journey. So this one's probably gonna be something like I stuck 3 non-binary autistics in a room. Watch what happens.
Love it.
I don't know.
Sounds about right.
It's about right. No, I actually had sorry, that was not the answer I was expecting, but I appreciated your story though, of like finding out how you were autistic.
Yeah, that was a little long-winded for a simple question.
It wasn't even like, well, I was leading to another question.
Oh. Well, my bad.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay. The leading question I think you just got your clickbait title. Reddit is comforting. I mean, that can be the red text over our faces. Hold on, we can get a thumbnail shot.
I like that.
I don't know how the fuck. Wait, hold on, I got this. Okay, I'm gonna go like this, and you two are gonna make the heart and go like this.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wait,
how do
which
Other
side
way.
am I on this
Murph,
side?
other
Hold
way.
on,
Both of you, other way. Your other way, Pan.
I can't. How do
Wait, I can't see Wava, so I can't. It's hold on. Oh, I'm backwards on that.
Yeah, you're backwards on this.
Okay, hold on. Let me think.
Wait, so am I?
now
Okay,
I go
I'm the
this
right
way.
Yeah, that way. That
This
way.
way?
Yeah, perfect.
This
All right, no,
is- we got-
face
we
the camera
got-
and smile. Okay, I'll extract that later.
Nice.
Flawless execution.
That's the
I-
thumbnail.
Okay, wait, no, I can see it. I can see it on Twitch now. It looks better than I thought it did.
Yeah. Flawless execution. And I'm just going to put red text over that saying Reddit is comforting, 17 question marks, covering the whole thing.
Beautiful.
Oh my god. Write this down for myself later. I put
I think we
3
used-
non...
I think we used our last 3 brain cells collectively to make that happen.
Probably, yeah.
Put 3 non-binary autistics in a room. Here's what happened.
I love it.
All right. Anyway, no, my question actually was, have you ever gotten like not discrimination, but have you ever like thought about being autistic in the way of just like, oh, you're new to America, so like concepts and cultures are different here, so like obviously like you're naturally autistic because you don't understand the culture, like duh, or is it like because I know that you are actually autistic, but like other people might be like, oh well, it's just because they're a foreigner and they just don't understand the customs, so that just like makes them appear to be autistic, but they're not actually.
So no, that's not actually something that happened to me like
Okay, that's great,
outwardly,
actually.
but that's definitely something that I kind of put myself through for
Yeah.
the longest time, and I think that's why it took me as long as it did to like realize that basically some was legitimately out of the ordinary going on with my brain and recognize it, because a lot of the things about the way people interact and this and that
Right.
were very foreign to me because, well, guess
Right.
what? Like, this
I'm
is
a
an
foreigner.
entirely different culture that I had no preparation for because my parents were just like, we're gonna move and that's it. That's like all the information or introduction or preparation that you're getting as a teenager going through like probably one of the most crucial and scariest like parts of their lives. Like I was like 12 or 13 or some like that, so like super like impressionable, so to speak, I guess. And so yeah, it was a wild ride. It was not fun, and some of the realizations actually were interesting comparing the two cultures from like, oh, I'm autistic point of view. So in my experience, American culture is a lot more implicit versus explicit when it comes to communication compared to
Yes.
Russian. And so that I feel like threw me off a lot because in Russia, like, things were pretty like laid out and literal kinda most of the time, but here I had to actually like try and like figure out what the hell people mean by doing like this or that or the other, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening? Like, please
If that's not
stop.
the epitome of the autistic experience as well.
It's like, no.
I saw a like I don't know twit longer thread the other day that was about how like white culture and WASP culture in the US is so like you never have real talk.
Yeah.
Where it's like people go so far out of their way to ever say anything that's like this is directly what's happening, like
Right,
you're not allowed to have that conversation. Yeah, right.
It's
and
so
like
weird.
they like go through like so many steps to avoid doing that, and it's all the implications. And it was like through a lens of like more race side, but like now hearing that, I'm like, oh, that is also like like such a autistic culture, like by like where we're just like screwed because we're like, I'm sorry, like you're telling me the exact opposite of what you mean, like, and I'm just supposed to know that we're all lying, but like no one is actually tolerating this and none of this is okay. So it's like you're always waiting for that moment where people are like, okay, but like here's like what's really going on, and you have to like learn to figure, like you're constantly in detective mode being like, all right, so they said this.
Oh, man.
Let's do the math here.
So,
what does that actually mean? Like,
I like
this is
these.
like- Sorry, go ahead, Waba.
Yeah. Hi, me being, Mask. And I kind of brute force my way through these kind of interactions because that definitely happened to me. And I definitely was like the weird kid. And I didn't mind being the weird kid who was just like, okay, but what the fuck do you actually mean though? Because you said this, but it implies that. And now you're all like laughing and giggling behind your hands. So like, is something I did funny, or like, are you just nervous? Like, what am I supposed to make about this? Like, it just never. I brute force my fucking way through it, and most people ignored me, or occasionally people were just like, no, like we're just joking, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a joke, especially when it came to like people being like mean as a sign of friendship. That shit took me so long to like be okay with, because when someone said something mean to me, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I thought we were friends. Like, why are you saying this mean thing to me? Like, I didn't do anything to you.
there's some comedian from Boston, I forget which one he was, but he's like, everybody from New England is like automatically funny because like you just like constantly
Thanks.
rag on each other as like communication, and so like you have to be funny to like deal with all of that. And I'm like, okay, but you like saying that as like a joke and part of your bit, like you do get that that's abnormal, right? Like, how do you like you shouldn't have to constantly be doing the like, oh yeah, like he's my best friend because I call him a dumbass 24/7. Like, what? I'm sorry, what? Like,
I don't know, man. I only call my friends a dumbass if they are being a dumbass. Like, I don't know. Like, it depends on the person, I think, a lot of times. Like, I am from the Northeast. I'm from New York. I'm in New York right now, So, like, I definitely see it a lot. So, like, but, like, usually it's, like, very blatantly obvious to me when we're joking because, like, it's different voices are being used. But I had to, like, basically, like, intentionally point that out to myself to learn that. And honestly,
I think it's hard too because like it's always there's always a layer of it that is true. Like you're not there's something that they're poking fun at, and it's like done in a fun, silly, like but I don't hold it against you way. But like
I was about to say, to be
your
fair,
shirt's fucking weird, you know, like that.
To be fair, a lot of those people that did make fun of me and were also quote unquote my friends weren't like really that close to me either. So they probably were actually being insultive, but because they knew the way I was, they just thought that I would like question whether or not they're being like friendly, jokative, insultive, or like actually hurtful, insultive. And I think it was like it just depended on how I reacted. So it was a lot of kind of like, haha, yeah, guys, turns to Connor.
Oh no.
And that's high school, kids. Don't go there. It's bad.
Honestly. But
Yeah, razzing sometimes is fine, but like outright just like bullying was so.
the whole like having to read into things has, I mean, you kind of have to do it in order to survive, really. There's no getting around it. And so I essentially, like, coming from some like pretty like shitty family backgrounds, etc., where there was a lot of having to like read the room kind of situations going on in order to not get your ass kicked. I developed a lot of like super intense, like basically, I don't know, like catalogs of how people act generally, and then specifically relating to every single person to like hyper analyze everything in order to like try and kind of piece together a more or less accurate, most possible scenario of what the fuck's happening right now. And so that's actually been terrible, because like while it makes it a lot easier to like survive on the daily, I am super prone to like anxiously over analyzing every like breath, for example, that my partner takes. And I'm like, are you upset? And it's like, no, I'm fine. What the hell? Though sometimes it is also accurate, and to the point where it's gotten scary, where it's like he steps foot in the house and like not even 3 steps in, I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? He's like, Jesus Christ, I just got here.
I mean,
Well, and I think that when, like, most people that did not get diagnosed or did not, like, uncover that they were neurodiverse or autistic till later in life, like, have that, like, we've had to fucking survive, figure out how to
Yeah.
do that.
I was about
And
to
so
say,
it's like, when you have those skills and you're like, I've done the math, and you're pissed, and they're like, no, I'm not, because they don't want to have been communicating that they're pissed, and you're like, but you're lying.
Yeah, but you're lying. You are pissed, and you just don't want to confront it.
Can we just
like
talk
about
skip
it?
to the part where we have
we
this
talk
conversation?
About it
Like,
yeah.
oh,
I
Yeah.
just want to die.
I feel you. I was about to say this is also, to be fair, a trauma response, but guess
Yeah,
what?
for sure.
Living
For sure.
autistic
100%.
is a trauma.
100%.
Like growing up autistic is traumatic in of itself, especially if you
And-
aren't diagnosed early. And then it's just like,
part of it's that, like, oh, well, you don't look autistic. Yeah, like, bro,
Yeah, that's the
inside
other
my
thing.
brain, I am doing so much heavy lifting to just exist around other humans who are not autistic. Like,
Yeah.
like, for you, maybe I don't, but you don't want to be dealing with this in here. Like, it's a whole different perspective inside, where we're constantly doing the math to try and mask and exist around other people looking,
that
you
ass,
know,
which is
passably
yeah.
neurotypical.
Yo,
I'm not trying.
have to-
I'm very glad I don't try to pass on stream, because I'm just like, nah, I'm fucking me. I don't give a shit. I don't spoons for anyone else.
But, like, I feel like streams have definitely been like very helpful and like liberating to me as well, because while I still mask just unintentionally, it's just at this point it's just a part of who I am. Like, I can't really just stop it. It doesn't completely go away even when I relax, because I'm so like deeply traumatized and conscious of all the things that make me weird. But still, like, even letting some of it go still is nice, and it's kind of helped me get a bit more confident with like being myself and being weird in like real life too.
Well,
I think streaming is great
Yeah.
because the amount of input that you're getting from other people is so minimalized that you don't have to, like, people have to literally send it in text.
Yo,
Yeah.
okay,
It's like-
okay.
it's so nice.
Communicate what
Mine.
you mean. Like, I don't have to like I don't have to
Guess.
feel the vibe of
Yeah.
people's, and that's
I-
like still trauma
I
shit
feel
too. But
that.
it's like,
I feel that on a physical level. Like, that is, I'm discovered that is my preferred way of communication. It's like
Yes.
even if I'm one-on-one with someone and like I just have to sit there and like, see all of their like body language and everything, I'm like, nope, this is too much. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna be dead. But on stream, it's like, oh, well, you're just non-threatening letters. It's okay. Like, I can do this for a while. Pulls 12-hour stream.
Honest to God, I feel that in my soul. The other thing about streaming I was gonna say is that in part it's a performative. It's for me it's authentic but still performative at times.
Yes.
Because that's just kind of the nature of streaming. But in that being yourself and being fully embracing your artistic weirdness, that becomes entertainment in a way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's like, all right, great, then people get to see this and it's normalized. All right, I haven't. This is the first time I'm gonna do this on this scene because I never set it up on this scene. But here we fucking go. Question answer time. Whoosh. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Do you feel like you get more done or have more energy when you can get away from trying to deal with people and less mental strain? Yes. Depends. I like being mirroring. I like mirroring with someone, like being at a VC, but like I don't want them to demand anything of me. I just want to vibe. And that's when I can get a lot of things done. But I'll toss that question to you too.
It's so being ADHD and autistic, there is kind of two modes for work for me. Where like, so if it's about getting stuff done, I need like some amount of background anxiety fuel to like actually do tasks. But if it's people around me, then that does not help at all. But like, so if I exist in a vacuum, I'm like, I'm just gonna chill. Like, I won't do stuff because I'm like, I don't have something like making me feel like I have to. But if I'm like if I have to like go and sit in an office to do work and there's a bunch of other people around,
Yeah.
I don't.
I can't
just
do
don't
it.
do work.
I don't go to my office much anymore. Like, there's no one there, but just the atmosphere is so just depressing to me.
Mm-hmm. And like usually offices have fucking overhead lights that make noise or
Yep.
beeps. Like, even if everybody's perfectly quiet and doesn't come bug you at your desk, like,
Listen.
I've never been in an office that doesn't like just feel oppressive with the noises and like sensory stuff. Just kills me.
We have a very small office in a pretty old building, so even on a Sunday when literally no one is there, all the creeps and cracks just like fucking freak me out because I feel like someone's like coming right behind me. I'm like, oh
my god,
who's there? Like, hello? Like, I'll say hello sometimes to a completely empty building, and I'd be like, I don't like it.
So for me personally, like, I don't know, I spend so much time socializing and just like being on social media or like communicating and stuff for like, again, streaming and content creation, that for me, in order to be in like peak performance mode, I have to completely basically just whatever, like social media, whatever, down for like a while and just zone, or otherwise I like will stretch everything out insanely because I'm gonna randomly pause, get stuck scrolling Twitter, something else, and then start having an anxiety attack about something that I just read, etc. And it kind of makes it hard to balance that, because in content creation you kind of like, I mean, y'all understand, I'm sure, you kind of always need to be on, and so like when you have to just go offline basically for a little while to get your shit done, like, it just drives me nuts. I hate it.
It feels bad, right?
Yeah.
Because like I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I think that like streaming and content creation while being autistic is kind of like this paradoxical situation, because it's like you have to do the social stuff and perform, and there's so many rules for it, and you're like, I'm good at it because I can like look at all this stuff and analyze like what's good and what works, because like you have to survive, like
I know
like,
what works,
part of how your brain works, but then
I don't like what works.
it also totally.
Like that's why I'm in a
I
good
don't know.
clickbait arc right now, because I'm like, I'm okay with with compensating on my morals slightly to clickbait on YouTube and get more views. Because literally, my whole thing is, you know, maybe they'll click on the video and then maybe we can have an authentic conversation with them. That's my plan. Twitter-wise, not gonna do any fucking thing that's actually gonna like grow me other than just make the post that I make. So
It's hard.
I hate engagement farms.
I think it's like one of those things where I get like, you know, having like frustration at things that don't work the way that they should work when you're autistic is like such a cornerstone thing where you're like, why don't the rules work this way? And I feel like when you are super authentic and you're like, I made this content and it was good and it doesn't perform well, it like pisses me off so much. I'm like,
I don't want
but
to
this
talk
was
about it.
so
Same.
good. Like
I
you
don't wanna
didn't
talk
show
about
this
it.
to anyone. And like it's not that I'm like, well, why don't they, I'm like, no, this is wrong. I've been wronged. This isn't just. This isn't fair.
I hate it.
Me at a lot of my content, because I'm like, I make good content, look at it. YouTube, 2 views. Thanks.
Right. Right.
I'm in this conversation and I don't like it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, great. Cypress is like so fucking timely. The fuck is this poop question from God King Pool? How long ago is this? What the fuck? Has streaming helped you be more open about your mental health struggles? Yes. Do you find it easier to talk to chat than people in your life? Depends on which people in my life you're talking about. But generally, yes. I have Frankie and I have the D&D crew from IRL that I play in on Wednesdays. So I'm looking forward to that this week. But other than that, I don't have a lot of IRL friends much anymore because they all moved away or, you know, COVID and stuff. So I find chat so much easier to talk to. Mostly because, again, it's text. So, like, I feel like there's less judgment over text, or, like, there's a lot less leeway of, like, again, the vibe thing that we were talking about before. Chat seems very safe to me. So I feel very safe, you know, kind of like, it's a one way, you know what I mean? It's like a one way. It's like I'm talking. So if people respond to my talking, it's like, okay, now I know what you're responding to. Or like, I know the energy that you're responding with.
Wait, excuse me, you actually remember what you just said on stream?
No, I don't. That's a fucking lie. I just lied in front of everyone here.
How
But,
dare you?
you know, because often I'll just like say something and be like, blah 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 blah, and then someone in chat says like says monster and blah 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 blah. I'm like, what do you mean monster? What are you talking about? And they're like, what you were saying earlier. What was I saying earlier?
Uh-huh. Yep.
And then they don't respond.
To be fair, I do that in like not streaming also.
True.
But like if somebody else derails a conversation, I can trace it back like no problem. But if I do, then I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know. What did I say 2 minutes ago? What am I? But so I feel like I really love, and like maybe this is like not healthy, but that's okay. I really love like talking to a somewhat anonymous, like where I don't like know the people at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't like a fresh group of people that I have not talked to, and I'm like, oh my god, this is everything that's going on with me, and then it's like off my chest and I don't have to care anymore. Like, and sometimes like I definitely do feel like streaming can be like you go in and talk about like, oh my god, this is what happened today and I'm stressed out, and it's like you said, like one way where the chat's just there and they're there for you, and so it's great. But then like Moon said, you know, some of the people in my life are often in my chat that I'm like, well, I want to be like on for these people. So I get both ways about it, where it's like, you know, I want to be good and happy and like not feeling like I have shit going on to like stress the people that are coming to hang out about with. So I think it goes both ways for me.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like being a mental health focused streamer type individual, we do just like Waba does. We do safe space Sundays instead of mental health Mondays, and so that's like a day
I love it.
basically for us to just all sit and throw ourselves a nice little supportive pity party and chat. Very cozy. Bring blankies.
Honestly, that's every day in my chat. Supportive pity
but
party. I like that.
not even like, so not that it made it, I guess, easier to, or like made me talk about more or made me talk more about mental health, but also at the same time it kind of did, because
Mm-hmm.
before, while I was aware of it being an important topic, I wasn't an activist, and so now I am, and that forces me one way or the other to basically, kind of actually do the things that I preach. And so that involves being open and honest about like things that are going on, this and that. So, so yes and no. In regards to talking to people in real life versus chat, it kind of made it easier to talk to others in real life. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the easiest way to put it would be basically it made it a little easier to accept that kind of like people who like my brand of weird are gonna stick around even if I act like
Exactly.
I'm myself.
Hmm.
People who don't like my brand of weird will only be here if I am, performing and not actually like letting any of my autistic like quirks come through or anything. And I mean, ultimately, like, what kind of relationship is that if I can't really be true to myself around that person? Like, is that really
Right.
worth it? And so like that in itself basically made it a little bit easier to like be myself in real life.
I feel that really fully because I try to tell folks like I'm nothing but me, even if I am being like performative and like the things I do or how I present myself at a certain time and space. Like I'm still me, you know.
Hmm.
There's still gonna be an element of Waba in anything I do. Um, so and I'd rather build a community around like the entirety of my weirdness. And maybe there's some parts that you don't like, and that's okay. You don't have to be there, but like overall, if you're like vibing with us and chilling with me, then like that's why I want you. That's the kind of community I want. That's just like because my brand is me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of learning to market me a bit better, and then growth will happen. Growth is always a fucking funky thing to think about. Uh, Thus, good clickbait art.
Yeah, I feel like especially recently, like post like all the things COVID accommodation related, like I feel like a lot of
Mm,
creators are really feeling like kind of the pullback of all of that. And I
yeah.
mean, it's really hard to stay motivated, let's be real.
It is hard to stay motivated. A lot of creators quit,
I'm
have been
seeing
quitting.
that.
I knew it
Yeah,
was gonna happen. I said it from the beginning. No one wanted to listen to me. I feel because like, I
I
mean,
hate when that happens. It's like, I
yeah.
told you. I told you. You
No,
didn't
listen.
listen. I
I
told you.
told everyone. I said I have a really controversial opinion. You're probably gonna hate me after this, but dead ass, you're not planning your streams correctly if you're doing streams in a way that does not account for what if COVID ended. Like I always
How
thought
would you
super long
address
run.
that though?
How would you address that? Is
Yeah.
that you schedule your streams at a time where you theoretically would be out of work and able to put a stream on. That's why I have
Mhm.
my stream times that they're at. They're at nighttime. It
Mhm.
sucks for a lot of people, especially considering a majority of my audience seems to be insomniatic Europeans. Um,
I feel
but
that.
you know, I do my stream times in a way that it's like, all right, I am also I have been working my full-time job this whole time as well. So
Mhm.
I've been scheduling stuff around that. I've been scheduling stuff around the fact that like I have like certain responsibilities with like night med run, which really fucking sucks, but is what it is. And I've been skirting around that. So, you know, other people were like, I'm just going to stream 24 hours a day, every day. And, you know, maybe they get a lot of growth and that's awesome. Good for them. But then it's like, oh shit, I got to go back to work. And I'm not making enough from streaming. And then it's like, okay, maybe I can come back in a small capacity. And, oh, I'm tired. And, oh, well, COVID. And, oh, well, I have to move. And all this other stuff. You know, I'm just like, people don't plan for the long game. And I'm like, plan for the long game. Always plan for the long game. Like, I always wanted to do something about mental health. So I did Mental Health Monday from, like, a really early get-go. I didn't really have, like, guests or anything. But, like, you know, slowly but surely I found people that wanted to talk. So, you know, and now it's evolved into what it is today. I'm always thinking long game. I'm always thinking how I can make stuff better, how I can make stuff more streamlined. Feature chat is one of those. So, yeah. Sorry, but, like, I'm really passionate about this personally. Because I'm just like, I was really frustrated with people who were just like, well, I'm just going to stream and just have fun. I'm like, okay, great. And then they're like, well, I'm mad because I don't have 1 million viewers in my stream. And I'm like, I thought you were streaming for fun. Well, yeah. but I want to be a pro streamer and making my full time.
It's only fun when there's 1 million people watching, though.
And I'm like, you said you were streaming for fun, so be clear about your goals. Do you want to have fun or do you want to make this your full time? And if you want to make this your full time, are you willing to put in the work to make this your full time? You know, are you willing to scale the work that you need to do, even if you're working your full-time job, to do this full time? Me, I'm doing what I can and I'm being happy with it. You know I can't do absolutely everything I need to do to make this full time, but I want to make it full time. But I'm doing it on my terms and my pace. And just having fun with it the whole time. Yes, I want to have fun, but yes, I also want to make this my full time, and I make that very clear. So, I don't know. I guess I have a stick up my ass about all the people who are like, I just want to have fun, and then they are all like, wah, I only have 3 viewers. I'm like, you should be lucky to have 1 with that kind of a shitty attitude. I don't know. Anyway, someone else talk. I feel awkward. I feel like I just targeted like a million people right now. So, you know.
Next up, Waba gets canceled.
I mean, I'm waiting for it, honestly. I'm waiting for someone to cancel me. Good. All publicity is good publicity, right? Wow,
what?
This. What?
What are you pulling?
All publicity is good publicity. All news is good news, right?
Yes.
All attention is good attention, right?
Supposedly.
This small streamer says that streamers with 3 viewers don't matter. That's not what I said. I said if you're fucking want to have fun, then have fun. But if you want to make this a business and you want to take it seriously, then make it a business and take it seriously. And don't kid yourself and stop getting sad about numbers if you're not doing the things that make you grow. So people see success as others on here and other platforms and think that it's easy to play a video game and entertain, but they don't see the work behind people put behind the scenes. Exactly.
And I don't know, maybe this is controversial. No, I don't think it is.
I already said something controversial. I've been canceled. You're fine. You can say whatever the fuck you want now.
So what do y'all think about like fucking Ninja selling his like how to be a streamer course online? Like I saw somebody like tweet like, oh, I took this step to like up my streaming game, blah 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 blah, and like I don't know, maybe. Like, I teach myself everything that I do. Like, I would never, ever... I mean, on top of that, just being, like, so cheesy. And I mean, like, hey, if that helps people, like, good for that. Ninja really has... Yes.
I really have a stinky opinion about these kind of things.
I mean, I think it's I think it's kind of the same as people, you know, influencers being like, buy this NFT. Like, I put it in the same category as that. But I mean, I do think maybe there's something there that like, I mean, and this is just in the like, I don't know. I feel bad for people that like really bought that thinking that that was going to do something for them. But, you know, like, I mean, maybe there's a takeaway in there that they can learn from. And maybe it's, oh, I bought this dumb thing because I had like a personality hard on for this guy.
Right.
And so I need to build something like that so that people buy my shit that I can hawk for, you know, like maybe that's the takeaway that you get from fucking falling for that dumb marketing shit. But like, I think that the stuff that makes you successful in being a streamer is not something that you can like learn in a course. And I mean, I think that it's like, even when I love streaming and I have fun doing it, that doesn't necessarily means I have the spoons to do it all the time. Like, I especially like, between ADHD and being autistic, like the hyper focus, hyper fixation, like roller coaster slash like this thing gives me energy versus it is taking energy from me. Um that is really, really hard to stay consistent 24/7 with, because it's like back to what we're saying before, where it's like, yeah, I just want to be authentic on camera and have people vibe with that. Like, sometimes I just don't feel like fucking streaming. Like, I'm like, yeah, I won't be able to do what I need to tomorrow because I'm just gonna be social burnt out from trying to be on for people when I can't. And so I'll just make that decision to like not do it. And then that goes into like a week of not doing it. And it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm mad that it doesn't work. It's just that I'm like, I need to do this in a way that's sustainable for me. And if that means streaming when I feel like streaming, I'd rather it be something that I feel good about doing,
Exactly.
you know? But like,
You're being
I just don't
realistic.
think that like some guy selling like, oh, how to be a streamer is like ever gonna help people. You know, I think that especially for like neurodivergent people, that's not the stuff that makes or breaks your ability to be on stream all the
Right.
time or whatever.
Yeah. I have a hot take about it. I think all stream coaching shit is just scams and grifting. Or a big majority of it is. I think that, you can take a course, but you can also just as easily do a Google search, look up stuff on YouTube, look up many people's different like how to stream
Watch a
guides
bunch
on
of
YouTube.
streams.
Just watch other people's streams. Take notes, write what works for them, write what doesn't work for them, write what might you be interested in doing on your stream. If you have a question about someone's stream, you could probably just ask them. If the chat is small enough and it's not like 10,000 people, you could probably just ask them, hey, how do you do this thing? And they'll probably be more than happy to tell you. I was asked today in a stream, actually, is like, would you buy my stream advice thing? And I said, no, absolutely not, because when it comes to any kind of like stream advice or even a consultation, because they were trying to think about like maybe doing like stream consultation stuff, and I said still no, because any stream consultation I would ever want or need, I could literally just ask my friends to give me their honest, unhinged opinion.
I mean, if anything, the thing that I think is valuable in terms of like what a streamer can do for extra monetization in terms of helping other people start streaming is literally being hired to help someone set up their stream. That's it.
I get that.
Help somebody
Yeah.
set up like integrations, how to use OBS, like do
For sure.
one-to-one things where you sit there and you're like, okay, share your screen. No, you got to move that over.
Yeah.
Let's go live and test. It's like that's the stuff that helps, not like theory. Like that never. What is that? That's valueless. And it's like what works for one person is never gonna work for like in a just repeatable way. Like, oh, just do this, and this will always long term keep your audience happy.
Right.
Like,
but that's
no, you can't do that.
That's what like what my opinion of the grifters kind of do is they set up like the curses, and it's like, buy my course package, $500, or they sell it as like, oh, it's only $100 per month for 5 months, and they just like give you the same 20-minute videos that they send out to everyone who buys it. It's just a money making thing, and it's like, I get that, and I also get I would value the one-on-one consultations more than that, but for me personally, I don't see value for myself, because I already have a lot of friends that I've made in the streaming world that are willing to give me those kind of, like tips and help me out and talk about content together for free. You know what I mean?
You
and
all have the same shaped glasses, Mama Bear said, and
Yeah, and someone
we
was
do.
demanding. Someone was demanding the Waba gets a
get a
hood.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that too. And Moon's right. I mean, people do learn in different ways.
Yeah, that's
I think
also
it's
true.
for me, it's not so much about it's not that I think it has to do with the type of learning that
Yeah.
is being offered. It's like literally the content where it's like
Value.
one person says, "Oh, you have to always rate into somebody that's bigger than you." Like
Right.
it's like that stuff that they're offering, or like how to speak on camera. And like I just don't think that there's like an objective truth to what works. And like I guess maybe this goes back to
Because what
like
works is going to be for
seeing
everyone
something.
different.
Yeah, for sure. And then also like knowing when you like know yourself, like, oh, this should work, I did this content right, this is good, and then
Right.
it flops anyway. I just don't think it's something that's like predictable in a way that's like scientific, in a way where you can sit down and say, okay, here's X, Y, and Z, you do this, and then you get views. Like that isn't a thing. Like maybe one, like maybe some of the time, but I just don't think that it's like,
It's not a consistent thing, but I'm gonna disagree with you slightly and say like there are things that people, not for streams, for YouTube. So different beast, right?
yeah,
For
yes.
YouTube, big face, expression, keywords, that shit works. Have a hook, get clicks.
Yes.
It's gonna work, if you follow the formula. Can you follow the formula consistently every single time? Maybe. But maybe not. It's a skill, just like streaming. Like you don't become a streamer just by watching videos or buying guides. You become a streamer by hitting going live and figuring it the fuck out from there.
Right.
What parts
Yes.
of yourself are good for, streams, what parts of yourself you probably should not have on streams, kind of thing. I'm not saying
That sounds
stuff.
like a
That sounds bad.
TOS situation. They probably
Yeah.
don't show you. No.
Yeah.
You
Don't pull
parts
out
of
your full
yourself
dick
are-
and balls on stream and shave them. But, also talk about how you shaved your dick and balls, because that's funny.
So I have like definitely a very hot take on the subject.
Yes.
So I'm a business person. I graduated with a freaking business degree, and so to me, what I think they're doing is hella smart, because
Oh,
there
it's smart
is
because people are gonna buy it.
exactly.
Yes.
So
I
feel
agree with
I
that.
feel like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with someone knowing how to capitalize on their share of the market in order to make themselves better off. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. The whole concept of like, oh, do this and it'll guaranteed work, if people really do try to use that as like a marketing thing, I feel like that's kind of hella unethical, because just like all y'all said, like there's no like cookie cutter just success way for
Yeah.
anything, really,
And the
especially when it
unethical
comes to
Yeah.
when it comes to things creative like streaming, whatever. However, I do think that these people have kitty.
Yeah, it's Sky.
I do think that people who, kind of made it big, whatever, in the streaming world know some things, and not everyone has the discipline or the willingness to go out and do the research, try to teach themselves. All of that takes a lot of time, a lot of work, let's be real. So
Right.
if someone has the money, wants to try it, and their preferred way of getting the info would just be, here, take my money, give me all of this information so I
Sure.
can kind of enter into this field, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Depending on how the marketing is done for that, of
Well-
course, some of that can be hella unethical, because you could be like, oh, well, my advice and coaching is super superior, and you're guaranteed gonna make millions.
Yeah, that's
After
It's
this.
That's
for the
where I
ninja
take
stuff,
problem
the
with it.
marketing is literally like, be a streamer like Ninja. Like, bro, you are
Yeah.
not gonna watch his like little
And become Ninja.
master class and become a like, I make $1 million streaming
Yeah.
guy. Like, and I mean, I definitely agree. Like, get your money for one. Like, I think that maybe streamers might look at that and see it as being like, okay, I mean, that's a little cheesy, but you do you. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with people getting their money. And I also, like, I'm sure there are situations in which it is helpful. And, like, if you have that money to spend and that's how you want to spend it, like, you know, go with God. go
Yeah.
go do it. Like, yeah, some of the marketing that I've seen from, like, these, like, really big names are like, you can be as popular of a streamer as me, like, and it's like, okay, though.
Most of the marketing that I see is what I take issue with most, because it's innately very predatorial.
Yeah.
It's not predatorial to offer a consultation or to offer like a content creation making course, but it's predatorial to be like, hey, new streamers, hey, you know, like it's always targeting new streamers, always targeting people that don't know any better. I mean, that's just innate in business, unfortunately. So for me, it's the unethical marketing for me. You know, that's where I take a lot of issue, because it's just like, oh my god, this is like the master class. The other one is the people that like are like, I'm going to individually one-on-one coach someone, and you know what, these different tiers of things, and I'm gonna make a YouTube video of like me coaching you and seeing how much money you make, and it's just like, great, so you're gonna make money off of someone else's success. So
I've not seen that, but that sounds
oh,
pretty.
I've seen that a lot.
Yikes.
It's super yikes. And I saw my friend like retweet it once, and I was like, did you like actually read this? Because like it's super predatory. And they're like, oh shit, I did not see that.
I think some of it too, though, I mean, especially like
It's super, yeah.
when it comes to parasocial relationships,
In general,
and having spoons for types of interactions, and if people are like asking you for help, and this kind of is more from when I used to do a lot of like tarot and astrology stuff, because people would just want free readings 24/7, and they would like trauma dump on me and be like, okay, they read the cards about this for me, and I'm like, I need to charge you for this time because I just can't. Like, you are just there is a boundary here that is important. And I, you know, like, I definitely get if people are like getting hit up constantly for help on something, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to put a price tag on this now because I need to gatekeep my time because I just don't have it to give. You know, I think that that is fine. But then, you know, it's like you see some of these, like, you know, they were on some reality TV show once, and then they offer like masterclass things or like
right.
that kind of coaching or whatever. And like I've seen people get canceled for it, and I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong to cancel them for it, but then also like these people are trying to like have some time, you know, like there's only so many hours in a day, and if people are willing to pay this money to talk to you, then, you know, get it. if that, you
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
that
Get
streaming school
get
on
your
YouTube.
bag.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like that idea, Mama Bear, by the way, where it's free. And like, I mean, this is also my hot take on Hover, which I think is also another predatory trap shut. But you know, I don't hate that idea of just like, it's a streamer school and they go over to how OBS and it's all free. Great. Love that. Like, if that's a Twitch channel or a YouTube channel, either way, I love it. And especially if they like make it accessible on like YouTube afterwards. Awesome. You know?
And I think that, like,
Maybe if they made it on
ideally
YouTube,
for that
Patreon.
kind of stuff, it's
Yeah.
like, do that, have a Patreon or do it on
Yeah.
Twitch and let people sub, and
Exactly.
you know, you get support that way. But I mean, you know, from a marketing and business standpoint too, like, it's like getting people to have the thing where they check out and they click
Yep.
convert button is always more
Yeah.
effective. And it's like people will just take for free forever,
Yeah.
and that
Sure.
sucks too.
And I agree with Cypress. It's a lot easier just in general to sell like get quick reach idea than work your ass off and you might be successful, which is why I see a lot of like the grifting stuff with the explosion of streamers on Twitch. Like COVID brought in like over, I think it's like 3-4 million streamers. I can look it up real quick. It's kind of ridiculous though how much streaming has exploded just in the last like 3 years, and how it's changed. Not necessarily for the better or for the worse, but it's just changed.
Well, the real winner in all this is Bezos.
Oh, true.
He's not CEO anymore though, so.
That's I didn't know that.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
the
it's
new.
been like a year or so since
Hey,
they changed
Commander
CEOs.
Root, new stats just dropped. Let's go. I love this shit. This shit speaks to me. Twitch currently has 2,600,490 affiliates and 64,719 partners, all while having 2,182 staff accounts. There are currently more than 8 million emotes on Twitch. In quarter 1, 2022, there has been 10.5 million users which have streamed at least once, 40,000 of those being partners, 1.3 million being affiliates, and 9.1 million still being plebs.
Wow. Is that really
That
what it
is-
says? Or...
Yeah, it's just plebs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they call the non-affiliates plebs. I love it.
Damn.
If you require 5 or more streams, it looks like this: 35,000 partners, only a million affiliates, down almost 400,000, and 3.5 million plebs, so down 6 million. Jesus Christ. With 10 or more streams, it looks like this: 33,000 partners, 856,000 affiliates, and 1.9 million plebs. Again, it keeps dropping. And there's apparently a tipping service usage at the end of quarter 1. With Streamlabs still being numero uno.
Gross.
So.
Is that a bag of ball bearings?
Oh yes.
To be fair, I also still use Streamlabs as my tipping thing because it's just easiest for me. And you can do monthly stuff. Not like anyone's going to, but it also connects directly to my card, so that's the only reason I use it.
Want to play with that.
And I don't give them
Stream
any money.
Elements is actually pretty lit in that regard. They
Stream Elements
have-
has been better with it.
Yeah, they have a program now that basically connects again directly to your bank, and
Nice.
the fee for withdrawing money is like minimal. You
Oh.
don't get a fee for like receiving the tip, but you have to pay a tiny fee when you transfer to your bank.
So this is the only thing I'll give Streamlabs credit for, which is that so if someone makes a card donation, which happened the other day, I got a $200 dono because of my situation with my apartment. Just some random, they barely even know me, but they came in on Final Fantasy stream, donated 200, and because it was a card donation, I could transfer the 200 straight with no fee to my card. So that was the only thing I'll give them credit for.
Oh, okay. Didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So because I enabled like card donations, because before someone, I think Patient told me like, hey, your card donations are disabled. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I connected it, and then it's just like made a direct thing. So
Cool.
it's been pretty cool. But don't give Streamlabs your money. Don't buy their fucking premium Prime, whatever.
Yo,
bullshit.
I subbed to that for like at least a year. I was like, nope.
Did you?
again.
I think I accidentally once clicked it when I was like doing a donation to someone because it's like, oh yeah, I want to make my message fancy, and it looked like it was free. But again, they do very predatory marketing for all their shit. So don't trust nothing. Don't trust fucking nothing. Let me catch up with chat here. Coming from an on-stream, there's no one way to do the thing. Yes. But heeding advice from people who are in the same boat as you, whether it's neurodivergence or the same size fan base, can just be as helpful and free as getting that $500 help. Right. Yeah. Sky is a baby. It's true. Questions from the peanut gallery.
Someone was also asking about face cams and stuff.
Getting there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's super interesting too.
Sure. We'll do these questions in order. What is something about yourself that you discovered by streaming? Do I have it? Do I have a second source of this? I do. Why do I have second source? Get out of here, second source. Anyway, yeah. What's something you discovered about yourself by streaming? Murph.
Well, the fact that I can like not sleep for about 24 hours and still like be alive was definitely a discovery. I also discovered that no, I can't eat a like million Scoville chocolate bar and be okay. Not in the same stream, maybe in the same stream, but
You don't even know.
It was not fun. Do not do.
Sky, please.
Do not do the spicy challenges. They're evil.
Oh, I'm gonna do a spicy challenge for my first ever subathon for my birthday.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck with that. It is a rough time.
I imagine.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm not a spicy.
See, I love spicy food, so I was like, this is gonna be nothing.
I love spicy food.
It was something. It was something.
Yeah, I like spicy food that's meant to be good, not
Ow.
I mean, you know, I'm
pain.
like, if I'm not sweating, then it's probably not spicy enough. So.
I feel.
I'm a
Okay.
little bit less spicy than that.
What is something you learned about yourself discovered by streaming? I discovered people really like talking about mental health, which I'm fucking thankful for. So I also discovered that people like Frankie more than me, which is fine.
I discovered that people like watching me die playing video games.
Honest.
As pain, even when it's pain for me, that can still be entertainment. I don't know, maybe there's a lesson there.
All right. Many streamers
Your
don't
cat
do
cuddles.
webcams
Are-
and get. Yeah, he always does this. Many streamers don't do webcams and get pretty popular. Do you feel like webcams add or take away from success? And do you feel like it would be easier or harder for webcams for mental health?
I want to set up. I want to set it up. I want to set up a cute little VTuber thing because I feel like
Do it.
I gotta take my ADD meds and hyper focus on it for like 2 days and learn how to do it.
Oh, you're gonna make a model?
Yep.
Ow.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna do it unless I can like hoard another bit of useless knowledge. What am I gonna? No, no, I'm making fun of myself because I just like to hoard knowledge. But I want to do that.
And your hoard is made of knowledge.
Yes, absolutely, 1000%, 1000%.
That's also an autism thing.
Yes.
Hoarding.
I'm living for the cat cuddles. Oh
I
my
hoard
God.
cats. Ow. You see,
Then he says he wants to come up and
you're
join
under
the
the
cuddle
assumption
party.
that I want this. I don't want this. I'm doing this to prevent him from eating my beard more.
My God, that is so cute. But for me, I don't know, like, whether or not face cams help. I always kind of went into this being told that they do, and so I started with one. Well, I think that not everyone needs a face cam for sure, but in order to not have a face cam, you need to be able to bring entertainment value to your audience without that, which, like, a lot of people like to see facial, like, reactions of whatever to whatever is happening. Stuff like that. So you have to somehow figure out how to bring value without that. So, for example, I have a friend who is a voice actor, and he just the way he does stuff on stream, like even without a constant face cam, like he's super entertaining. And like I personally think that I'm nowhere near as entertaining, and I have a face cam. So like I feel like it's just whatever works for whoever. There's no like right or wrong here with face cams. For mental health, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that if you're gonna get down now. If not being like on fit, like it makes you stream more, and then you stream more as a result of not having to have your face on cam, like, and that becomes a thing. Like you're like, oh, I don't have to get ready to. I mean, not that I really do, but like. If that's a thing that gates your ability to stream and then that makes you stream more, then I think that that's helpful. And if that, especially for like mental health, if you can be there more doing more mental health streams, then that is gonna be effective. And I think that like for sure there are people that are really, really good at not having similar to like covering mirrors. Yeah, totally, absolutely. I mean, because like even if I don't really like look at my camera when I'm streaming, I'm still like it's there, you know, like I'm still like conscious that I am broadcasting my image on the internet, you know. So
I'm being perceived.
Yeah, like I am
Don't
being
perceive
perceived. Do not perceive me. Let me be disambiguated voice on the internet. But like if that helps you talk more, then that's great. Like that's more content that you can do.
For mental health stuff, I feel like face cam is nice because it makes it feel more personable, which sometimes
Yes.
is what people need in order to be able to open up more. I mean, just like with therapists and stuff, it's always preferred to do in person versus and face to face versus like online or any of that, because the face to face is what like helps them get a little bit more of a better read on you, and B, it helps build a more personal connection. So it kind of depends. Again, if you're just not comfortable having your face on all the time, then I mean that's valid, and that means you won't be able to build that connection anyway having your face on all the time, because you're just not going to be comfortable, and no one else is going to be comfortable because you're not comfortable. So I don't know, just do what helps you, do what you feel is right. Honestly, just try stuff. Like if you feel like X isn't working, then do Y, see how that feels. If Y is
Well,
worse than X, come back to X, etc.
and in in an autistic way, like having your face up or staring at somebody talking, like, because like when I'm thinking about like when I've gone to therapy, I like refuse to like look at if I'm like sitting in the room with them and not doing telehealth, like I am like not looking at them, because then I can't like fucking think and talk. Like I need to like not have like
I
eye
understand that
contact
too.
wise.
Yeah.
So like I do kind of wonder, like, hey, maybe like specifically for autistic people, like does that make it better or easier to like watch someone and hang out in that context? Like I I don't actually know. Like that's a good point, I feel like maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes in the way that having that personal connection can help you open up, like then it's also like, oh, this is real because I'm talking to like a real person about this. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to
Yeah.
like a fucking cartoon, then maybe you can access more stuff that like normally you would kind of shut down about, like in the same
Yeah.
way. I think it can go both ways,
It,
where it's like,
it definitely can. And the thing with VTubers, the appeal with VTubers is the way that VTubers usually conduct themselves on stream and through like their socials as well. It's very like business and just like I'm here to entertain kind of purposes. So it's like purely just like I am a show.
mm-hmm,
Hear me entertain. And my interaction with chat is I am the character and I will interact as the character to chat. So, people do feel kind of more open. I mean, just in general, the anonymity factor of chat helps oftentimes. So again, it can bring out the best, it can bring out the worst in us. It can sometimes also bring out stuff that it's like you wouldn't dare tell another soul. Me, I guess I'm a different type of streamer where it's just like I get very personal. I like to get to know folks. I mean, I know I'm gonna have to have like more fans and kind of pull away from my community in that kind of a way, to really like truly achieve supposed like fandom. But I always want my community to still be close knit as possible, while still being big, and I think that's possible. I think it's possible.
Jenny said, can I ask if this is related to body dysmorphia? Because if so, I want to send it to somebody. I feel like it definitely could be. I mean, I think. Sorry, that was loud. I think it can be. I think also, like, we're all NBs, we're all autistic, where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm in this body. This is the body that I live in, but like that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, this is who I am. Like I don't think that like the way that I look necessarily is like one-to-one tied to like who I am as a person, and like I don't necessarily, I mean, especially from like a non-binary standpoint, like I don't like, if I got to character create my person fresh and exist as that, I don't think I'd pick like this specifically, and I'm not like, oh my god, I need to, change
Reroll.
anything. But I think that is a, I don't know if it's body dysmorphia specifically, but like I think that kind of comes into play too.
That
Like
definitely can
where
come into play with cam versus no cam versus like VTuber model, because I do know that a lot of VTubers out there, unfortunately, are VTubers because that they are a bit like, maybe not dysphoric is the best word, but they are unhappy with how they look and they feel like they couldn't they feel like they don't want to like present their face, or they would just rather feel like they can express themselves better or more so with a model compared to just like their normal facial reactions. And I know a lot of very popular content in general is in that reactive kind of purview field, of just kind of like people expect you to be like, wow, super reactive. Why can't I type in my own chat? Anyway. But yeah.
I
I
do
don't know.
have to
Yes,
run
Murph.
here soon. I do apologize, but I really appreciate you
All right.
having me. This is wonderful.
Murph, closing arguments.
Closing arguments. Fun fact, since we're talking about body dysmorphia, if you are born basically, how do I say this? Jesus Christ. If you're born with a vagina and you're autistic, your brain is somewhere between the female and male brain, like the wiring difference that exists, which makes basically us super prone to like body dysmorphia, being trans, whatever, which ironically, so there's a lot of hate. I don't like Joe Rogan. Let me preface all of this by saying this, but
No one likes
Joe Rogan at one point got a lot of hate for like saying something like, oh, trans people have a tendency to be autistic, and like
it's kind of the other way around.
It's the like you're correct, but
you're correct, but in the wrong direction.
You're so close, and for all the wrong reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like autistic people just tend to be trans because their brains are wired weird.
Well, and I mean, so much of it, it like, what the fuck is gender? I think that's a whole thing. Societally, trying to understand what gender even is.
Gender is no thank you.
Yeah. Gender is
Gender is throwing my cat Sky across the room and wondering where the fuck my 10,000 viewers are.
Oh my god, ridiculous!
This asshole.
Why are you lifting up your poor cat by the scruff?
He deserves it. That's why.
That is terrible. Oh my goodness.
He deserves it. He knows what he's done. Harassing me.
All right. Well,
anyway,
I appreciate y'all. I will
still
be in chat, lurking and stuff. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for having me. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Also, welcome
Jenny
in,
said more info for when I can focus more. If you look up here, I'll type it in the chat. Audi gender.
Yes.
Or I also saw somebody say now people are calling it gender vague, but like in the lens of. Actually, let me see if I can find the link real fast, because I won't later. But let me see.
I think we have a command for it, but don't fucking.
No, it was Asan posted a thing about it the other day. It was just a new article that I thought was like good and helpful.
Oh, okay.
I like too much shit on Twitter, so it will take me a minute to scroll through.
Welcome in, Jenny, by the way, and also welcome in Enrico, something like that. I don't know. Welcome in.
Everything I like on Twitter is Final Fantasy related, except for this one post about autism.
Wow, you didn't like my Final Fantasy Grapes post? Canceled.
I did like your Final Fantasy Grapes post. I am
the only
sure.
Person who liked it. Sure. No one else got the joke, but I got the joke. That's all that matters.
There we go. I found it.
So Audi gender is a relatively new term. That's basically that your gender is so tied with your experience of being autistic that effectively being autistic is your gender. Like, I know that sounds really stupid. Like,
nope,
my gender's a tachopter. No, but it's fucking really true. Because the autistic experience, like the way that you perceive the world, is drastically different. So your gender being tied to your autism is kind of like not a far-fetched idea. Take care, Swooshy. So it's definitely an interesting thing to think about and think, if we want to place some kind of a term on it. Gender vague is another one of these, I guess.
I think so. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would use that with other people to be like, this is what that means, because I feel like gender vague is like its own thing that is not tied to autism. But I do like. I think that the information in the posts is generally good.
Yes.
Or might be a good point to jump off with reading more about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I that stuff is all super interesting. Go on about it forever.
I love it. Hey, Census Taker, welcome in. How you doing? Oh man, do I have more questions in the queue? I do. Do I have questions for you? I don't know. I'm bluff today. I mean, I'm feeling better, honestly, but I'm just like, oof.
I'm doing this like gig right now where they get like different recalls for food, and then you have to call these like restaurants and places that serve food and be like, oh, there's a withdrawal about this, and then you like send them a link to all the info about it. And so the one I was doing today was for quick grits, and there's a couple different reactions that people have to this where they're like, oh my god, thank you so much, like food safety issues, I will take care of that right away. And then like people get mad at you about it, or they're like annoyed, and I'm like, you're serving people food that went bad, can you please not be a dick? Like, this is important.
Yeah, that seems like a bad thing.
Yeah, but it's interesting too. Like, people in the South are like really nice and polite, and especially about grits. Like, I don't know, it's like amusing for me to be calling people in the South about their grits for some reason.
Honestly, that's great. Maximum great. I have a question for you. How did you discover that you were autistic? Because I think Murphy gave us their story. What's your story though?
So I figured out that I had ADHD first, and that was also a Reddit based revelation, but that was back in like, I don't know, 2014, when people still were on Reddit. I mean, they are still, but it's over. Let's be honest.
Reddit is over.
Yeah. Reddit's over.
Okay. I thought that was just Tumblr.
No, Tumblr's back. Tumblr's back, baby. What are you
back, baby.
I
don't know.
So yeah, like ADHD, like I would be like, oh my god, I'm so ADHD, blah blah blah, and like then I finally read some description that I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking ADHD. And had, that realization reading some post on stupid Reddit about it. And so I went and got my diagnosis, and I had meds for that for like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, on and off. It was always a struggle, like insurance in the US, garbage. So I'd have meds on and off and kind of go through being like, am I on the right meds? Is this really everything? And then still just kind of having that, there's sort of like that thing that's out of reach where you're like, okay, but why am I like this though? Like, why are things so hard? Like, why I don't understand. Like, what, there's something that everybody else has that I do not, and what is it? Yeah. And how do I fix this? Because especially, when you get into your 20s and stuff, like, and you have to exist on your own, outside of, somebody else's care, you're like, well, I need to be able to, be a person. When you're younger, it's not your responsibility to be a person so much, so I was, going through it, trying to figure out, do I just need different meds, like what's up, and I think there had probably been, similar to Murphy, I read something about ADHD in women. I mean, autism in women, and I was like, wait, are you serious? Like, I think so much of it for me had been being like, well, I'm definitely not autistic because I'm empathetic, and that fucked me up for a good 5-6 years when I was like doing my own research into figuring out you know, what was going on with me, where I was like, well, I deeply empathize with other people to the point that I can't like exist around like it's so hard for me to deal with other people's emotions, and I feel them so deeply, so that can't possibly be it, right?
No,
and
it
then
is.
when
That's part of being autistic, is being super sensitive to that kind of thing.
yeah, right, exactly. But like such a
But you were
cultural
told
thing,
that that's
right?
what
They're
autism
like,
is. It's
oh,
like, you don't
you
have
can't.
emotions.
Yeah, you're a robot. You're a cold robot, and it's like, not. That's not. That's the furthest thing from true. And I think it's starting to that conversation is starting to change a little bit. But like, I mean, I think that trope is still super prevalent. And I think even what's that show on Netflix with the autistic kid that people talk about?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Oh, Atypical. I think he's still. Yep. JV's got it. Like, he's still presented in a super,
Stereotypical.
traditional boy autism.
Boy, autism, low functioning.
Yeah.
Let's
And like
use functioning labels.
Love on the
Bullshit.
Spectrum and stuff too. Like that. All those shows. I mean, Love on the Spectrum, I guess, is a little bit
Better.
That's got its own problems. Not related to this.
Oh, okay.
But I do think, when I was watching Atypical, like the mom, I think I was screaming, the mom is clearly autistic because she's got like feminine autism. But yeah, so I think so many of those tropey bad misunderstandings were just like people repeat that stuff so much without knowing that it gets ingrained, that you're like, well, it's not that. And then I finally started doing more research into like other presentations of autism, and was like, oh, right, I check every single one of these boxes. So for a while I just went with the like, yeah, I'm probably autistic also, and that helped a lot. And I started kind of unmasking more myself, or like reevaluating my entire life based off like, oh right, all of this now makes sense. Okay. And I eventually got my official diagnosis, which I had to like fight for with my insurance to get them to cover. But I was in like, a lot of people don't get it covered, so it was a big success to get them to pay for that, and finally got that like official validation. And it's like, self-diagnosis is so incredibly valid, and we shouldn't have to work to get either an official diagnosis to get support or whatever. But it is so nice when you do have that external validation that is like, yeah, no, there's a reason for all this. I am the expert and you are indeed autistic. Like, it's really nice to have that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a luxury, and I am very good at advocating for myself through insurance because of all the shit that I had to go through with ADHD to get them to cover meds, or even though I had official diagnoses for ADHD, they're like, well, we don't want to give you stimulants. And I'm like, well, why?
But that's the treatment for ADHD.
Yeah, right. Like, oh my god,
Like, I thought you were drug seeking or some shit.
No, they just didn't want to, because it was California state insurance, and so they like want to just put you on antidepressants. I'm like, that's not gonna give me.
That's not gonna help
functioning. But yeah, I don't know. I think that they have like quotas that they're allowed to meet and whatever, and I mean, also I'm sure too, because that was before I knew that I was autistic. I'm sure I was going in there and I was masking super hard, trying to not look like I was drug seeking so that I could get meds. and they're like, well, you're fine. You look fine. You don't need it. I'm like, I do.
Yeah, you're
I'm
supposed to
just
mask, but not
drowning.
mask that hard.
Yeah, that is such a hard.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
So, my story with being autistic is I don't have any formal diagnosis of anything. Like, everything I've always claimed that I have, like, literally in this command alone is self-diagnosed based on the fact that, like, I'm learned. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, I think. Like, I have got a whole master's about it. I swear I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, like, the one thing that I always did not want to, like, say definitively is if I have, like, autism or if I maybe have ADHD. But autism was the one that, like, I've been thinking about for so long. And my other autistic friends that I've talked to about, like, my life experiences are just like, you know, you could definitely say this is best explained by being autistic. Like, like my being super analytical on kids on the playground at a super early age, and then like trying on as if like I was trying on clothes, you know, different social interactions with people, and then like marking the results down. You know, I was very like literally experimental with how to socialize and just not understanding, okay, why didn't this work here? What was the context that it didn't work? I don't understand. I don't understand the subcontext. So it definitely took a long while to kind of like be comfortable with coming to the decision that I am autistic and have been autistic my whole life. But I really just was struggling with it because I was just like, I don't want to self-diagnose myself as autistic because then I don't feel like I'm valid. Then, you know, I feel like everything else, like everything else, mental health wise, to me in my brain was like so cut clear. You know, like, you know, you have 4 out of 6 of these symptoms. You know, DSM-5 diagnostic of what's depression, what's anxiety, what's a panic attack, what's dissociation, what's CPTSD. You know, like all that shit fucking fits like a shoe. And then it's just like autism. You get to autism and fucking DSM. And DSM is shit, by the way. So don't think I'm trying to advocate for that.
We gotta circle back to that.
We'll circle back to it. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's there's so much.
No, there's a thing. We'll see.
Yeah, I might have mine.
No. So,
we'll circle back. You said sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I was just like, I couldn't fucking. I mean, the way that it's written in DSM is shit. So you know, it's mostly just, and like I looked up like how to get diagnosed for autism, and it's like basically the test equates like compare yourself to other autistic adults. Do they match up enough? Congrats, you're autistic. And I'm like, that's really stupid, but it makes sense. And I'm like, I'm already doing this. And I asked my autistic friend, like, do you think I would offend anyone by identifying myself as autistic? And they were like, no, because it does explain most everything. And yeah, and so I've felt a lot more comfortable with myself ever since then, honestly. Also, welcome in, Fats Wombat. I love your name. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourself out there.
It was realizing my friends were all autistic to put the pieces together as an
Yeah.
adult. There's like this beautiful self-filtering that happens where we just all find each other because we're the ones that like each other, because everybody else is like, you're fucking weird, and we're like, no,
Like,
you're
yes,
fucking
I
weird.
know. Thank you.
Okay, so the new edition of
Which
the
one?
DSM,
TR?
the one that is coming out, the next
TR.
one,
Or 6?
I guess. Yeah.
6 or 5 TR? Because 5 TR was supposed to be better.
No, I think 6.
Okay.
But they're trying to make it more conservative in terms of who gets a diagnosis. Like, people were like expecting it to be like, oh
What?
yeah, it's gonna include presentations of like trans people, non-binary people, perhaps women, different
Perhaps
race,
God forbid we include
different
women.
racial things, any of that, and they're making it stricter in terms of who can get an autism diagnosis. Yep.
Huh.
Yes, exactly what everybody was expecting and hoping for. Perhaps.
I All right, we're gonna go stage a protest and march on down there with some pitchforks and torches. So
We can all just bring our stim toys and sit in front of their office and fucking weird. Probably more effective. But yeah, so people are pissed about that, and they should be, and it's not good. And I read the news about that and was like, I'm gonna just file that away and stuff that I cannot handle thinking about right now. Because it is, but you know, I'm happy I already have my diagnosis because they can't fucking rescind it. But I do not like that for anyone. And I think that it's wrong, and I really hope that that changes. And it's just, you know, in a really fucking depressing way. Like, I think for all, I mean, especially over quarantine, but I think even before then, like, autistic people started finding each other on the internet, and I think that that was beautiful because we're all like, hey, these are my experiences, and the, oh, this is autistic culture has gotten more defined, and I think that people are like, wait, we all do, like, this is such a collective experience that so many of us have had in different ways, and it's like, you know, yeah, if you know one autistic person, you know one autistic person, we're all different. But I think that there's a lot of stuff that is really unifying, and I think that us sharing our own Twitches and Porchlight for a sea of autistic moss. Yes.
Hello, fellow random autistics of Twitch. Join us. Bask in the chaos. Bask in the light. That is Waboology. Bask.
Keep the lights
Bask.
down low.
You good?
No, I'm like a 2 at best, but I'm becoming a 3 because I'm embracing my chaos. I thought that light was Reddit. No, Reddit's light is red and annoying.
Our light is
blue rainbow?
Yeah, but like not it's like atmospheric.
bright.
It's like what our light is one of those rainbow galaxy star lamps that like move on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's listen, it looks like this. Here you go. Bam. Bam boom. That's the background I used for the Mental Health Monday poster. Look at it. It's so calming and atmospheric. We love it.
Yes. We love that.
I love lamp. I also love lamp.
But yeah, I think that on one side we have all these autistic people sharing their experiences and finding a lot of you know, community and support and just general representation and explanation of like this, you know, giant question and like overwhelming like not fitting in-ness their whole life. They're like, I do actually fit in somewhere, and it's with all of the other autistic people. You know, and that's super beautiful, and I love that for us so much. And then at the same time we have like fucking Autism Speaks and like the fucking DSM getting worse, and like media representation that's questionable at best, and like celebrities supporting causes that, like, you know, they think it sounds like very ooh woo yay autistic people, but then it's like,
you just
actually
remind me
torturing autistic people. Like there's so much of that's going on at the same time. So I think it's like it's really hard to see that spectrum sometimes.
You know what you just remind me about? The movie that celebrity did.
Sia?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Well, thank God she's locked in Beyonce's basement.
Thank God, yeah, Sia. That was so disgusting. Your most recent boss used Autism Speak stuff on me at work to be accommodating.
No.
Call disability services. Like, what the fuck?
No,
It's
I
not okay.
I hate that.
Hate that for you.
Ugh.
Thanks, I hate it.
That's painful. I don't know.
Miro, do you like Cube? You like Cube.
But you know what? So far this month,
Shut up.
compared to last year, it's
Less
like
than 3
I
months,
feel like
sorry.
I have less less trauma-inducing posts about autism that I've seen so far this month.
Yeah.
Which I really hope it stays like that, because like last April I was so like I'm like, can it just not be autism month? Can we just not talk about it anymore? Like this is for me? Question mark. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it's better
And
or
that's
worse.
why we
this
talk
year.
about autism in April, because this month is traumatizing for all of us. And I just want to have a refreshing conversation for fucking once.
Mm-hmm. Like led by autistic people instead.
Like led by autistic people for autistic people.
Yeah. Cool. Like better. A lot better.
That's
a
a
lot better
tweet.
when it's like
I'm
that.
making that a tweet right now.
I mean, especially so like, you know, we just had Trans Day of Visibility, which is another one of those where it's like, who is this for? Question. You know, this is for cis people, not trans people, because unless you're Venmoing me, like I don't care. I'm not. We're all tired. We're all tired. But having Trans Day back to back with Autism Month is like, this is supposed to be nice. Where's my day where I get to feel lifted up?
Deadass, though.
We
Because
need Autism Celebration Month.
Celebrations, yeah, celebration. I said acceptance. I prefer acceptance more than just awareness.
I do. I think that that's correct too. I want fuck yeah Autism Day.
Is there nothing about us without us a hashtag?
I feel like that might be. I mean, if it's not,
Whatever. It's I'm just making actually autistic the hashtag. There you go. Someone ratio this shit. Thanks. Appreciate it. Autistic people talking about their experiences. What a novel idea. But what about all the ND, which is neuro.
Divergent.
It's not neurodivergent in this context. I'm pretty sure Baron is talking about the neuroscientists, the one who explain autistic experiences to autistic people. Because autism is innately a neuro disorder, disorder specialist. There we go. Can we all just get on Twitter and tell AS to fuck off publicly and delete their account? Yeah. It's already been done many times. Many people have said Autism Speaks, please stop. But Autism Speaks is like, no, we're totally doing better now. Like, look at us go. We took out the word cure from our publication, so obviously we're so helpful now. And I'm like, you're literally a fucking sounding board for parents to be like, oh my god, my autistic kid is so hard to take care of. He's such a burden.
Ooh woo, I'm an autism mom. So another thing, so like, because Autism Speaks got so much bad press and people push back on it so much, there is now all of these, and this is kind of about like where the celebrities like think that they're helping and they're not, where there's all these like branch organizations that popped up that just are like, well, yeah, but we still use ABA.
Right. It's like, okay, you're not any better.
Like, right. And it's like, well, no, it's different. It's like, I don't know. Is it?
Listen, I'm not going to say every single mother who does that shit is a narcissistic parent, but I'm going to say they're definitely not exactly not abusive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Identify through their children like that. Like, I'm the autism mom. Like, no.
I've seen on TikTok,
cringe.
like people that are ABA counselors, and they like, ooh woo, I work with autistic kids, and like, oh my god, they're so special, and I'm like, you are giving autistic children trauma. Please stop using it for clout. Like, I hate you so much.
Yeah, I had to unfollow friends. We had to ban someone as well for being like just super gung ho about ABA. And they're like, you can't deny that I'm not helping people. I'm like, okay, but are you going to deny the millions of autistic voices that are like, ABA is abuse, and forcing me to mask for others is not the way, and also shocking children is fucking wrong? Like,
Right.
hello? Stop the shock is a hashtag for a reason, people. Because that shit's fucked.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, so much of, I think, what we've seen thus far in history about studies of autism is the way that
Yep.
it affects other people and not our internal experiences. And that's why us getting together in our communities and having discussions like this, where we're like, yeah, this is actually the autistic experience, is so powerful, because it's not about how does this inconvenience somebody else. It's about, like, what do I live? What is it like for me? Because if you're trying to figure out your own brain and all you know is the symptoms of something in the way that it affects other people, how are you ever going to be able to identify that that's what you're experiencing? Like, it's such a, like, there, it should never be like that. And they just don't, people just don't care to listen to, like, autistic people about what our experience is. It's like, well, if they're not repeating the same word 24/7, they're probably not autistic. It's like, maybe I'm internally repeating the same word 24/7. Is that a thing that matters? So
Right.
yeah.
We cure their autism because they're no longer doing the thing that we didn't want them to do, and we smack them in the face every time they did it.
Right.
So shit.
We withheld food if they weren't making direct eye contact and smiling and asking the way that we, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I literally
Ableist
just
bullshit.
like
Yeah.
crumpled inside hearing that. Ugh. As a college I worked at that had Autism Speaks partner with their counselor offers a few years ago, it was cringy. That's super cringy. Oh my god. Well, now the thing, the rebrand for ABA is behavior specialist
Yeah.
with behavior-based therapies.
And, like, it's, they do a really great job at making it sound good. Like, they have, you can tell that they have spent so much time and money doing, like, market research, because it's like a giant fucking industry, to
I
make it sound like something that and parents fall for it. And I've been in
It's
a lot of
funny.
Facebook groups that are like autism support groups, and parents come in and they're like, I need to find something to help my kid. They really have genuinely good intentions, and, like, their
Right.
doctors are like, you need to do this. This is what insurance will cover. And then they go and they talk to them and they make
Yeah.
it sound really good, and they think they're doing something good for their kids. And so it's like, you know, I think that not every person that is a parent who takes their kids to a behavior specialist is, like, inherently evil.
No, a
You know,
lot of
like,
parents are just trying to get help for their kid, and I get that. But I feel like, you know, definitely should be more. I don't know. I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, if there is more effort to be like, hey, maybe talk to other autistic folks about this. Because, like, yeah, like, that's a typical thing. If you go to your doctor, and your doctor's like, this is what insurance will cover.
right,
Unfortunately,
right.
insurance
And
covers
then it
ABA.
becomes, I mean, it's so hard to, like, even
And then
have the
it's,
conversation about
yeah.
getting help in the US, because our insurance is so
Yeah.
shitty that it's like,
And then,
well,
again,
that frames the whole
yeah.
thing, you know?
And what you're saying is, like, they basically have to spend money on, like, either a disinformation campaign, you know, say little as possible and make it appeal so great, or sell themselves so over the top. So it's like, this is obviously the only and best and bestest option that you have forever and ever. If you even
If
have
you even,
insurance.
yeah.
Yep, also a good point. Right,
Well,
so.
I know a lot of the stuff where it's like, so the kid's struggling in school, so the parents are like, well, someone tells them you need to get an IEP, so then you have to go take, you know, there's, like, this path that they lead kids down,
Yep.
who, you know, all they need is somebody to, like, be like, hey, it's okay for you to stim. Like, that's 90% of the
Dead
time. It's
ass,
like,
though.
we have used a therapist for one of my games.
I've used therapists for my kids and social skills group for 2 of them, but we didn't use manipulation tactics. I didn't let them do the food tasting portion either. It was hyper involved and what it would. Yeah, and if you're a super involved parent, you learn what the fuck they're actually doing, and I feel like that's where the problem is that some parents are so busy because of the way capitalism is that they don't
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Right.
have the spoons to be super involved. So it's just kind of like, all right, I guess it's I guess it's fine. They sold it pretty well, whatever.
Well, I mean,
Um,
look, if a like highly qualified medical professional is like, your kid's autistic, this is what you need to do. You go and you do the thing, and you trust the people that are supposed to be the experts. Like, that should be okay. Like, in like a functioning society, that would be okay.
right.
But like, obviously
In a
that's not
functioning
what we have,
society,
you know?
a parent should have the fucking time to be able to be involved in their kids' therapy and in their kids' treatment for anything, regardless of what it
Right.
is, else to autism or otherwise.
Right. And like, you know, if if your local government and the insurance that they give to low income people only covers
Yeah.
ABA style therapy, and you're like, well, I had to do what I what I can afford, then it's, it's classist to not have compassion for those people,
Yeah. And
they're
then it's
doing the
hard to
best that
say,
they
is it
can.
is it ABA or is it nothing? Like, what do you do as the parent doing that situation?
Right.
And I think there should definitely be, this is a company idea for someone, outreach for low SES folks who can only afford, uh, or for insurance that covers ABA. Could we offer like online kind of courses or something like that of just like social skill stuff training? I mean, a lot of being a parent, I guess I can't say this for sure, but I feel like a lot of being a parent with an autistic child is being a bit more hands-on and a bit more attentive to intentionally teaching social skills, or basically intentionally teaching the skills that your child needs the support in, and trying to provide the support. It's a lot easier to get an expert, obviously, and you're going to fuck up along the way, but what parent doesn't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact of the matter is, if you try it and you're trying to be genuine about it, your kid's going to appreciate that long down the road.
I mean,
But
and
you should also listen to your kid.
it's, I think, important to say in this context too, if your kid's autistic, there's a very high likelihood one of the parents is autistic too. Um, and so I think I think for me especially, like, so much of what I grew up with, I was like, their behavior is normal behavior, so therefore my behavior is normal behavior. um because that like deepens your lens of what is normal. Because if you're growing up around people who are also autistic, it's hard to say, um oh, like they don't know that they're giving bad information. And they
Right.
might have gone misdiagnosed their whole life, especially, like boomer age parents, and even probably Gen X parents now too, like they didn't get
Yeah.
mental health care either. And capitalism has crushed them also. And so a lot of them never got the chance to unpack any of that. And I think that we're really the first generation that's been like, yeah, excuse me, this is very fucking important, not in a like, emergency interventionist sort of way. Yeah, millennial parents too.
They're
Especially like
feeling the
elder
crush.
millennials right at that edge. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
And we're raised by like, emotional babies, so um
Which is, I'm kind of thankful for Disney in a weird way, despite them being a mega corp, for making the fucking movies about generational trauma, because that's literally what we're dealing with. And people are slowly but surely moving away from their generational trauma and healing from that, which of course doesn't help the whole situation, but it definitely helps to get therapy about it. And then being a more effective parent, being a more effective friend, being a more effective communicator, etc., so forth. just all plays into each other in a society, in a larger societal kind of wide. So I think those movies are important, and more pieces of media like that are important to be representative, in that way. That's interesting with the expanding his palate thing. I'm pretty sure I've heard about that before, that specific treatment where they were trying to, it wasn't you, it was someone else who told me about this.
My dad did that to me as a kid. Like, they were like, you're not leaving this table until you finish your dinner, and I like couldn't eat it for fucking sensory reasons. And they're like, well, it's gonna be your breakfast the next day, like more than one time, and I'm like still have like fucked up food shit because because of that trauma. Like, and that wasn't even like a doctor telling them to do that. Yeah, exactly. It's like I mean, yeah, your kids gotta eat, you know, and I get that, but it, absorbing nutrients is the goal, not sitting down to the family dinner
Not
out of respect,
traumatizing
you
your
know?
kid over food.
Right. Like, if you can get them to eat the food, get them to eat the food. And like, I know it's if you have sensory issues with food, it's hard. Not to be like, not on top of also having trauma from like growing up and not having people understand that you're not just a picky eater or like what that means.
We also have an endemic of, this is Baron's comment, endemic of autistic adults who are left out in the cold, not getting any support. That's true.
Yeah.
Those people are just often in therapy, told in therapy by others to just make it work, to become a huge problem. Yeah. I had a client who is an autistic adult, and he needs a lot of support, but you know, the support that he's getting, even though he's literally in treatment, like, it's kind of a situation where they feel frustrated about him because they're just trying to be like, okay, how to have a conversation, and he's not making any progress, but they're not doing anything else. You know what I mean? So it becomes frustrating to work with him, and I gave him up as a client, and he's actually being transferred to a CR now, which sucks, but he might be better off there because then he be able to actually interact with people. But he's been that way forever, and he never really got the treatment. You know, he's just kind of existing. So we'll see how that works out for him. So
well, we don't really have that. We like, unless you've got other stuff going on, like it seems like unless you have like serious developmental
disabilities,
or like,
they don't give a shit.
like they just don't give a shit.
No
I know with my insurance, so I went through a thing that like in the last 6 months that super fucked me up, like really fucking bad. My insurance switched from doing ongoing therapy to you get 12 sessions to start and that's it. Ugh. And so I like, and I, you know, like, if you're autistic, it's real fucking hard to like get to the point where you're actually like unpacking all of your, you know, as an adult, like years and years and years of trauma to like where you're like, okay, let's actually get to like thinking about some of my CPTSD shit. And you know, like I finally had a therapist that I was like, okay, I feel like I can talk to you, like, to where we're doing more than just like, this is what happened in the last month sessions. And she's like, well, sorry, you can't see me anymore. And I've made my therapist cry too. And I mean, especially during panorama pandemic time, there's like so many times where they're just like, I don't have the answers for you, I'm sorry, the world sucks. But they're like, unless you're like going to be hospitalized for mental health reasons, you can't see a therapist through this thing anymore, and you can't even pay out of pocket to see the therapist that you've been seeing. So I would have to find a brand new therapist and go through all of that process again on my own dollar also, to have therapy when it should be covered. And I'm like, you don't treat autism. It's not a mental health thing that goes away. And my mental health is like definitely fucking suffering because I can't go to therapy. because that I need like maintenance therapy to just like deal with being highly neurodivergent in a fucking society that has no space for us at all. Like, it's not something that,
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe you eventually get better at managing it, but it's not something that you just pull the cord on somebody without being like, I feel like it's okay and like ethical to stop seeing, you know, like that's a conclusion that you come to together, not like, well, policy changed so I can't see you anymore.
Fucking sucks. Honestly, streaming is my space. That's how I see it. It's just like, this is my therapy, like in a weird way. Just
It
getting to talk to
was
people.
more for me when I was doing therapy too. Like, I think I
Mhm.
was going maybe once a month. Like, I wasn't even seeing her that much. But like, just having that like extra, this is just for me and not being broadcast thing, and then also having my space where I could like day to day do it was like a really good balance for me. And then not having that, now it's like so much harder for me to get to where I'm like, okay, I feel like I can just be on and like do the thing without like running out of spoons. Like, that was the one. But also my fucking medication management doctor now, she's just a nurse, and she is just, every time I see her, she's like an old lady, and she complains to me about how stressed and tired she is, and like makes
What?
jokes about how she's ADHD, and I'm like, this is
Unhelpful.
inappropriate.
And inappropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it makes me like feel bad for like being like, can you refill my medications, please? Thank
Shit,
you.
I'm sorry for being such a burden to you. Like, damn.
Yeah, I'm like, not like I have specific trauma about feeling like a burden to old people when I just am trying to exist. Thanks for activating that. Can I get my refills, please? Okay, bye. So like, that's also not helpful, but
And then it's like you don't want to report her because then it's like,
yeah, like they are overworking her, like, genuinely, so like it's not her fault, you know, like, I
you
get
feel
it.
bad for you, but like, please.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not my time to feel bad for you. This is my time to
Right.
be able to feel
Get
like
my
I can
meds.
feel bad to get my fucking meds, bro. Like, oh my god. I hate her. I gotta see her tomorrow, actually, and I'm like, I'm gonna be pissed for a whole day after this, but
Good luck sending you love. I think one of the biggest problems is employment. Yeah, despite being well educated, I'm always viewed as problematic because I don't conform to social norms. Honestly, the capacity that I'm employed at my current employer is questionable at best, and I am very bare minimalist at worst. Like, I am very, very behind on work at any given time. Like, even right now, I feel pressured to do thing that I'm supposed to be doing and have stuff done by the end of the month, by the end of last month. So it is now the 4th. It's fine. I'll just do it tomorrow. But you know, tomorrow eventually comes until either I get yelled at about it or I just do it, and then I'm like, okay, great. No one yelled at me about not doing my notes because I did them before, you know, my boss actually checked them. So I'm kind of thankful that my boss is a fucking is a hot mess too, in a way, but also it's very frustrating to have a boss that does not know what they're doing. So, or I often feel like they don't know what they're doing. So, what are you gonna do?
I have been applying for jobbies, and
Yeah.
one that I had a second interview for, they're supposed to be emailing me like in the next couple days, so we'll see. On the form to apply, I was like, I'm disclosing my disability, because if they're like an actual real company, they get money for hiring disabled people, and I'm like, I check a few of these boxes.
Please
And
hire me for
so-
your numbers, thanks.
Right. I'm like, this is subsidized. Just hire me. I'm fine.
Like,
So
I'll do
I'm
the job. I'll be a little slow about it, but I'll do it.
right.
So I've
Right.
been very thankful to be able to like work from home for the most part, because like, good lord, if I had to like go into the office every day, I think I would die. I don't think I could. I don't think I can ever do a traditional job anymore. Like, I worked Walmart for so long. I can't do a traditional job, honestly. I haven't held many jobs in my life, I guess, overall, but I don't feel like I could actually do a traditional job. I'd just be fucking drained. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I barely am able, I feel like I'm barely able to take care of myself as it is, with the messy
Mhm.
surroundings I have. Like, You want me to put me in a fucking traditional shop? No way. Which is why I so desperately want to make streaming and content creation and just fucking hanging out and chilling with people. I want to make Twitch my full time. You know what I mean? Like, I also like
Yeah.
making videos and I like making content and then having it edited because I think I have pretty good fucking content and I'm definitely a throw money at a problem type person. So that's why I have an editor to like edit shit when I have money for it. Right now I don't because, you know, security deposit is more important. And making sure we have enough money for rent and all that is more important.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that's why I throw my VODs at an editor. I'm just like, listen, there's good shit in here. I just don't have the spoons to edit it myself, even though I know how to edit. I can edit short.
That's what I need. That
Yeah.
I need to do that.
I can give you an editor if you want me to. They're pretty cheap.
If send me a contact.
Yeah.
If I get hired, then that's my jam. Cause like so
'Cause I can
okay,
do, like,
so to
short
circle back to
form
our
stuff. Yeah.
our like streaming shit. It's like, look, if you're gonna pay someone actual dollars, paying for a service is fine. Paying for like a course that's questionable, like okay, but like if somebody can like if you can put
No.
somebody to work on
They
a
do
task,
my edits, and I
Yeah.
just have to. I do my own thumbnail. I do my own title, but they do all the editing. They do all the editing work for me. They like fucking take a 3-hour VOD and they chop it down to 20 minutes, and I'm like, I love you.
That's so beautiful.
That's what I want. I just want highlights. I don't want anything like too
That's the dream.
like they don't do stuff too fancy, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't need something too fancy. I just need you to do like whatever you do already. So I'll figure out all the tags. I'll do the thumbnail. I'll do the title. Like, you can go on my YouTube and you can see which videos are edited by them. So fucking shout out to Mask Sama. I really want to learn programming. Good luck. Frustrated me. It might be good for you, honestly. Programming is one of those things where it's like either your autism says yes or your autism says no.
Yep. That is exactly correct. 1000%.
But yeah, honestly, most successful programmers just learn on their own. Like look up what is it called? Not Code Academy. There's a free one. Oh god, what is it called? I had to do it for like a course and I had to like do like the basic like Python thing, except Frankie did it for me because I didn't want to. I hate programming. I'm just like traumatized by it. Education is something I want to move away from. So autistically focused, yeah. Is it Code Combat? I don't know if that's one of them. I can't think. Babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hi. Do you remember the thing that I had that you did for me, like the Python 101 course? It was like free coding. What is that? What site is that? It is Code Academy? Okay, it is Code Academy. There we go. Anyway, this has been fun. I see that you're dying.
I'm a little bit dying.
Okay, goodbye. I love you. I appreciate you.
It's the COVIDs. The
What?
COVIDs. The COVIDs.
I mean, you're dying also mentally, I feel.
I am dying a little bit mentally. I was on the phone for like 3
lot.
hours talking about grits.
That's
before
too
I got on
many
here.
grit hours.
Have any of y'all seen My Cousin Vinny?
No. What is that?
It's got Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei in it, and it's from like, I don't know, the late 80s. But it's a good movie and you should watch it. But grits are in there. There's grits in that movie. That's all I've been thinking about all day. Maybe I'll go watch My Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
It's
You-
good. It's a
you go do
solid
that.
movie. That is more grit hours than I have ever spoken in my entire life.
Honestly.
They're quick grits, so maybe they went faster.
Is this actually like a fucking like a tongue twister? Like quick grits, grit quick on flick and fucking.
You have to say a
throw your grits.
withdrawal of quick grits.
A withdrawal of a quick grits.
I hate grits.
I hate it.
I
hate grits as well.
think that I've tried them and I wasn't too impressed.
Yeah, they're not that great. My cousin Vinny's used in
Yes,
law school. It's
yes.
a legal procedure. I actually did. I think I feel like that
But
is a fact that someone
they-
told me.
There's like a thing where like he has to ask how long it takes to cook grits in court because somebody like is like, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw this thing when I started cooking the grits, and then this happened when it was done, and so like it's a whole thing. Yeah, no self-respecting Southerner
Turniponky
would
just
use
joined
quick
the
grits.
Wynort squad. Thank you.
It's like oatmeal,
Hello, Abba Babe.
basically. Okay. Hey, self-diagnosis is heckin' valid.
Yes, it
Fuck
is.
autism speaks. Fuck ABA.
Absolutely. Fuck ABA, all that good shit. Hey, Taryn, I love you. Mwah. Hello, Wabba Babe. Hi. There's
Capitalism
a
is the worst.
poll. Capitalism is shit. Anything else?
I'm gonna vote that for you.
Thanks. Go on the poll. Y'all, I don't know. Anyway.
It's okay to take a break, Waba. You did a good.
Not
You did
allowed.
a good. We did a stream.
I'm not allowed to take a break. Also, me clicks end stream vote.
You're allowed to go have Frankie time.
Yeah. Thanks for
Also,
the left
hi,
ass
Frankie,
cheek.
we love you.
Hi,
Yes.
Frankie, we love you. Why the left ass cheek?
Because I think I sit on my right side more, so I want the cushion there. My bisexual seat sitting, like
Yeah,
I always put. Oh no! Oh no! I ripped out my headphones.
my
this leg goes up.
pansexual seat sitting is yeah.
Yeah. So I lean on the right side, so I'm not using the left. So you can have that one.
Thanks. It's very nice looking.
There's only like 2 childhood traumas in that side.
Oh, as opposed to the other side.
Yeah.
I see.
When I say that I have a fat ass, it means that I'm doing great mentally.
Yes, we talked about the inflation of the ass when the mental health is doing good. Anyway.
Anyway.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I love you, and I appreciate you sitting with us and listening to us and fucking, yeah, just chilling, asking questions. I appreciate all your heckin' support in this matter. Thanks. We're gonna fucking pull an Uno reverse card. We're gonna go pull a Uno reverse card. Okay, excellent. He's not raiding out yet. Good. We're pulling out Uno reverse card. All right, we're gonna go read Potchfed. Bye, YouTube, by the way.
Bye, YouTube.